I've got a new game plan for the call.
Uh-huh.
Hey, can you try not look so fucking nervous? I know what I'm doing.
Succession is a show about business where everyone sucks at business. Kendall picks up the phone thinking he's going to negotiate with his banker by being a total alpha, but he gets shut down immediately.
Yeah, come on. Real world? Can we start to negotiate?
Listen, son, that's our position. If the stock drops below 130, you're in breach and we want our money back.
In most TV shows, the charismatic hero can convince anyone to do anything. But Succession is more realistic, making it the perfect example of the sociopath paradox. Succession revolves around Logan Roy, a mean old bastard who owns a media empire.
And I'm gonna grind these fucking bones to make my bread.
It's also about which of his 4 children will succeed him at the head of the business. Among them, Kendall is the most eager to become the new boss. Before we go on, it's time to let you know that there will be lots of spoilers in this video. Anyway, in season 3, episode 2, Kendall tries to rally his siblings to one of his countless schemes. 2 episodes earlier, he betrayed his father by publicly accusing him of creating a toxic corporate culture.
The truth is that my father is a malignant presence, a bully and a liar, and he was fully personally aware of these events for many years and made efforts to hide and cover up.
Now he needs the help of his siblings who hold large stakes in the company to win against their father. So he makes his pitch.
Big picture, we're at the end of the long American century. Our company is a declining empire inside a declining empire.
Amen, brother.
People are killing themselves with guns or dope so fast that we're losing pace.
Unsubscribe.
We're fat-fingered fucks and we can only live on cream.
Kendall's argument actually makes sense. Their father is a dinosaur. Business-wise, he's on the decline and he has allowed rampant abuse in the company, which is about to blow up in his face. But right from the start, we know Kendall will fail. It starts with one word.
Unsubscribe.
His sister, Shiv, lets him know that she doesn't buy his argument. And what does Kendall do? He doesn't try to ask a question to find out what's wrong. He doesn't try another angle of attack or even to express his point differently. Instead, he carries on as if nothing had happened.
What I think is, within that context, we can become omninational and reposition. Because actually we are not tied, culturally or physically, so we are actually in a great position to leapfrog tech.
Kendall is actually well spoken here. A declining empire inside a declining empire is a wonderful turn of phrase. And in any other show, his eloquence, his appeal to emotion, and the fact that he's fundamentally right in his analysis would have won over the other characters. But the problem with this wonderful speech is summed up in the series' most important line.
But it doesn't serve my interests. How does it serve my interests?
In order to convince someone, you need to speak their language. Take this example from Better Call Saul. Saul Goodman wants to convince a redneck who hates lawyers to hire him as a lawyer.
I don't need a lawyer. I don't want a lawyer. Nothing you can say is gonna change my mind.
How can Saul show that he's different from all the other lawyers who harass this poor man all day long? How can he show that he speaks the guy's language? He needs to do something a normal lawyer would never do. Saul prints a photo of a guy making love to a horse. For context, the logo of Mesa Verde Bank and Trust, their common enemy, is a cowboy on his mount.
Sir, I hate Mesa Verde. I hate them. Looking down at us from their glass tower, they think they can on whoever they want, and we just have to smile and say thank you. Look, picture me as the man and Mesa Verde as the horse. I'm the guy who'll do whatever it takes to stick it to them.
But he obviously uses a very different style when defending his clients in front of a jury.
I don't know, call me crazy, but I don't think they deserve to have their bright futures ruined by a momentary, minute, never to be repeated lapse of judgment.
The great talent of someone like Saul Goodman is to be a chameleon. He knows how to adapt to what each person wants to hear. And in real life, that's really hard to do. What's much easier, however, is finding your audience and then creating a way of communicating that works on them. For me, it's long YouTube videos, long emails, and long sales pages that will speak to a certain type of person. But if you ask me to sell something to the Kim Kardashian audience, I'm going to have a hard time speaking their language. Coming back to our episode of Succession, Kendall's giant failure is that he doesn't even need a new way of communicating. He's talking to his siblings. He knows how they think. And yet, instead of speaking their language by explaining how his plan serves their interests, he tries to play on the sense of guilt when they just don't have any.
Dad is complicated, but he did or let bad stuff happen. Yeah, and now it's a part of us, and our sickness, and we have to take responsibility because we knew, and this is our chance to pay our dues and wash our hands for absolution.
And when they reject the responsibility he tries to lay on them, instead of looking for a better angle, he tries to get into a fight.
Okay, well, I didn't know.
Sure, whatever, but yeah, you did.
No, I didn't. Did you, Rome?
No, I didn't.
Playing on someone's sense of guilt can be an effective persuasion technique, but the guilt must already be there. If you try to convince someone of their own guilt just so you can manipulate them, you'll meet with enormous resistance. Many movements make this strategic mistake, and that's how you end up with 30% of people who refuse to believe in human-caused climate change. But in this case, it's even worse because Kendall uses the language of social justice only when it suits him. And maybe it sometimes works on the general public.
Fuck the patriarchy!
But his siblings know him far too well to fall for it. Here is how he reacts when Shiv refuses his alliance.
I was the only one you wanted. Yeah? I was the only one who mattered.
Yeah, only because you're the girl. Girls count double now, didn't you know?
Oh, yeah. No, I know. I fucking know.
It's only your teats that give you any value.
Well done, Mr. Feminism. But what's even crazier is that Shiv isn't the first to refuse. Just before, it was his half-brother Connor who first rejected his alliance.
I'm out.
Well, fine. You're irrelevant.
Hey, fuck
Go on,
you.
go.
No, come on.
You're not wanted.
Come
go,
on.
go, 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 go.
No.
Yeah, you're not
Because
wanted. You're not wanted.
The moment Connor says no, Kendall goes from "we're all in this together" to "everyone hates you" in front of the other two. He doesn't even pretend to believe his own rhetoric long enough to get everyone's answer. And literally 10 seconds later, he turns to Roman and again tries to act all buddy-buddy.
Come on, man. What I eat don't make you shit. There's enough for us all.
Like I said, I'm with Dad. I have been. I always have been. Told you.
You're a fucking moron.
Once again, he insults him in front of Shiv, the only person who has yet to announce a decision. Unsurprisingly, she rejects his call for fraternal unity.
I'm with Dad.
In Succession, persuasion doesn't usually work. So what separates Succession from shows like Better Call Saul or Mad Men? It all comes down to the sociopath paradox. The main characters in Succession are sociopath, a word I'm not necessarily using in its clinical meaning, but in the sense that they have a total lack of empathy. When it comes to persuasion, this gives them a huge advantage, which is that they can't be easily manipulated. It's no use playing on their emotion, flattering them, or appealing to their sense of nobility. Even shame doesn't work on them.
What if I go public with this full court press? Incredibly embarrassing for you.
Yeah, but the thing about us, Mark, and you should know this by now, we don't get embarrassed.
But the downside is that the lack of empathy prevents them from anticipating how people will react. Kendall wrongly imagines that his siblings will be receptive to his message of social justice because he's incapable of putting himself in their shoes for even 2 minutes, which would have shown him that his strategy had no chance of working. So the sociopath is capable of being a chameleon, lying and telling people exactly what they want to hear. But lacking empathy, he doesn't always know what to say. And that's why persuasion attempts almost always fail in Succession. You've got people who suck at persuasion, trying to convince people who are almost impossible to manipulate. So negotiations are always resolved by a power struggle. Who holds the best cards? Who has the most power? Take the scene where Kendall tries to convince his sister's husband, Tom, to join his rebellion. This time, Kendall's strategy is really good. He has a powerful emotional argument, which is to offer Tom to help him stay out of prison.
And you're not going to prison. How does that sound?
He flatters him, which must mean a lot to Tom, who is usually the family punching bag.
I admire you, man. I do. I fucking, you're a long way from home. You're far from the tree. You've played your hand well, and you're sitting at the top table.
Wow, shucks. Thank you.
And he plays on the fragile masculinity of Tom, who lives in his wife's shadow.
She'll respect you. Tell her what she's doing. Bring her over. Logan goes down. Shiv knows who the fucking man is.
But despite all those beautiful manipulation techniques, Tom turns him down. All that matters in the end is the balance of power. Logan is still the strongest.
And I don't mean to be insulting, but having been around a bit, my hunch is that you're going to get fucked. Because I've seen you get fucked a lot. And I've never seen Logan get fucked once.
Despite what you might think at this point in the video, successful persuasion does exist in the world of Succession. For starters, there are the normal people who aren't part of the main cast, who are just as vulnerable to persuasion as normal people in our world. Take the scene where Logan is motivating the troops at his TV news channel. He uses a classic persuasion tactic, where he begins by framing the problem.
15% up year on year. It's a shame we're up 40 on costs. But I guess it evens itself out in the end. I mean, does it?
He uses this opportunity to belittle his audience, making them want to redeem themselves in his eyes.
Is 15 equal to 40, pal? Is 15 equal to 40, pal?
No.
No! Good! Good head for numbers.
Then he immediately turns to flattery and tells them what they have to do to avoid disappointing him again.
You're good folks. You're the best. Or you wouldn't be in here. But you've got to knuckle down for me.
He offers a clear vision.
So fucking spicy. So true. Something everyone knows, but nobody says. Because they're too fucking lily-livered. Huh? They cannot believe what we said and the fact that we fucking said it.
And he ends by giving them an identity to live up to.
You're fucking pirates! All right!
So, given we've been speaking about the sociopath paradox, how can Logan, king of all sociopaths, influence his employees? His secret is that he never plays on emotions he doesn't understand. That would require empathy. Instead, he riles up the crowd with the only emotion he really understands, the taste of blood, the all-consuming desire to win. His inspirational speech can be summed up as follows. Number 1, you're insects and I could crush any one of you if I wanted to. But instead, I'm going to join you and together we'll squash our enemies. When Kendall gets on his high horse with speeches about social justice, he's trying to appeal to emotions he doesn't understand himself, and so it doesn't work.
I think I thought I was a knight on horseback, but yeah, that isn't.
But for Logan, these incomprehensible emotions might as well not exist. For him, it all comes down to one simple truth, the balance of power.
Life's not knights on horseback. It's a number on a piece of paper. It's a fight for a knife in the mud.
But that doesn't mean Logan is invincible, because someone who only understands power is still vulnerable to one emotion: fear. Fear drives the scene that changed Succession forever. The one where young, sweet Lucas Mattson manages to persuade the impossible-to-persuade giant Logan Roy to sell him his company. Initially, it's Logan who wants to buy Mattson, or more specifically, his company, a Netflix-like streaming platform. Logan starts aggressive and dominant.
So, what do you think? Are we doing this fucking merger or not?
Wow, just straight in there, huh?
But Mattson turns the table, and by the end of the meeting, it's Logan who's ready to sell him his business. The suite begins by setting the stakes as a matter of survival.
The point is, if we want to survive, you and I, then we need a hell of a lot of little folks running around shitting us data, you know, for the eyeballs, for the revenue, for the scale. No offense, but I don't think you have the technology or the orientation to get there.
Logan doesn't have the technology to take his company into the 21st century. But Logan already knows that. He has the content, Mattson has the tech, and that's why Logan is so desperate to buy him out. This is where the real negotiation begins. Who needs the other more?
And you don't have the content.
Well, maybe not, but we're flying like a fucking rocket ship and you're sinking like a lead balloon.
Logan's stock price is falling, while Mattson's is rising. This creates urgency. The longer Logan waits, the worse his position becomes. So Logan tries another approach to show he has the upper hand.
What's your churn like?
Yeah, we hear you have problems with binge and burn. We got the good stuff.
Sure. Some of your content is pretty cool, I guess, but business-wise, it's time for you to beef up or sell out. And you can't become a tech player because you and your business are just too fucking old.
The reply is brutal. He's basically saying, you're going to die, old man. The only question left for you to answer is whether you'll die with dignity. But immediately afterwards, Mattson diffuses the insult with a compliment.
I don't want to be rude because you're a legend. Honestly, you're a fucking bulletproof tank man.
Insult, then compliment. It's exactly the same tactic Logan used with his team. The goal is to get Logan to accept the truth that no one around him really dares to tell him. Yes, Logan is old. Yes, he needs Mattson to pivot to tech. So Mattson destroys him with one of the most astonishing sentences in the entire show.
I'm just really excited about the future.
At that moment, Logan realizes that he's not excited about the future. He's afraid of it. He's at the top and he knows there is nowhere to go but down. He tries to put on a brave face.
So am I.
Are you? Really?
Well, that's something you say, isn't it? No, but I am excited.
But Mattson has put his hooks into his brain. Logan looked the Swede in the eye and saw a younger version of himself. A winner, a killer. By comparison, he suddenly feels old and fragile.
But America, I don't know. When I arrived, there were these gentle giants smelling of fucking gold and milk. They could do anything. Now look at them. Fat as fuck. Scrawny on meth or yoga.
Immediately after this rant, he turns to Mattson.
Go on.
Talk to me.
This must be the moment when Mattson knows he's won. The mighty Logan Roy needs reassurance. He's giving up the initiative. It's a huge contrast to his opening sentence just a few minutes earlier. So Mattson sees his opportunity. He gives Logan a way out.
You're hurt. Maybe you're tired. So I make sense as the person to take over.
Logan Roy's iconic line throughout the series has been,
"Oh, fuck off."
and if ever there was a perfect time for a fuck off, this is it. Indeed, Roman is surprised when it doesn't happen.
Dad?
That's okay, son.
Even Mattson is half expecting it.
I notice you're not punching me in the nose.
But instead, we get to witness the rarest of sights. Logan Roy is left speechless.
I don't know.
He hesitates. He is scared. Mattson goes in for the kill.
What are you thinking?
I'm not telling you what I'm fucking thinking.
Well, I know what you're fucking thinking. You're thinking every bit of me wants to tell this slab of grovlocks to go fuck himself. Except for the bit that knows that every word he says is true.
Logan is surrounded by people who tell him what he wants to hear. He's had his doubts, but he's learned throughout his career to not dwell on them and to keep moving forward. But Mattson managed to influence him by speaking his language, the language of winning and losing. The last shot of the scene is clear. Logan has been persuaded by the only emotion that has a hold on him, fear.
Excuse me for 1 second.
While doing research for this video, I stumbled upon this clip that I don't remember from the first time I watched the show.
I know that you've read a lot of books about business management and this and that, but you know what?
What?
You got to subscribe to Marketing Monster.
I don't know why they cut that scene from the show. Seems great to me.
Okay. Okay, so that's it. So I should subscribe to some loser on YouTube? You know, he has less than 1,000 subs, right?
He's gonna be huge. I feel it in my bones.
Alright, so we have 699 subs on the channel, only 99,301 to go before we reach our goal of 100k by the end of next year. After you subscribe, let me know in a comment what number subscriber you are. We can only see exact numbers up to 1,000 subs, and it will be fun to look back after I make it big. And if you want to see me break down another all-time great show, click here to see how scams work in Better Call Saul.